Reshuffle last night. So let's continue our discussion about last night's reshuffle and the reaction to President Cyril Ramaphosa's cabinet changes. Here in studio with us, we've got ANC National Spokesperson Pule Mabe. Pule, good to see you again. Very busy man you are. It's been a busy time for the ANC, and I imagine it's not going to get any slower, is it?
Yeah, no, it has been quite hectic. You'll imagine that immediately after these processes, we have to now get on overdrive for elections.
Indeed, we really do.
Yes.
But let's have a look at what happened last night, and particularly with the appointments of our new ministers and our new deputy president, who, by the way, needs to be sworn in this morning.
Yes.
So is that all happening? All this morning? I mean, we've got 3 people that are in the cabinet that are not MPs. They need to be sworn in. So let's talk about that process.
Well, the president did indicate yesterday that there are those who will be sworn in, of course, depending on availability. Others might be sworn in at a later stage, but the intention to really appoint them into those positions has already been pronounced by the state president yesterday. So we are not going back on that one.
Yeah, so that's happening first thing, I imagine,
yes,
this morning.
I'm dressed for that as well, so I'm already ready, going there to make sure that we take through the pronouncements that were done yesterday.
Yeah.
You'll also have seen the ANC had already issued a statement welcoming the appointments, because there has been intense consultation. The ANC has been consulted, the Women's League and all other alliance partners, the SABC, COSATU, they have been consulted to make sure that at least everyone takes this with the necessary spirit it deserves to allow the movement to now move forward.
Let's talk about the ANC's reaction. I mean, overall, I imagine you as a movement are happy?
Well, the ANC is quite happy. The fact that the top leadership is quite engaged on this with the president of the ANC, who's also the president of the country, because the ANC is the strategic center of power. So there's also, like I've just said earlier, that there's been engagement as well with the alliance partners. Of course, I mean, we had also congratulated our deputy president of the ANC, who's also the deputy president-elect of the Republic of South Africa. We are quite happy with these developments, because they now allow the ANC to focus on discharging its immediate responsibilities. One, ready its machinery for national elections. I mean, the bringing back of Comrade Fikile Mbalula at Lituli House, you will know. He's an all-round organizer, brings with himself the requisite experience to be able to mobilize and ready the ground so that the ANC can master the 2/3 majority victory it needs to take forward its program of socio-economic transformation.
Yeah. There's a lot of concern also amongst South Africans and opposition parties as well, looking at some of those that have still been included in the cabinet. And I mean, I just bring up 2 names that many had thought, well, this would be the end of their time. And particularly, I pay reference to Bathabile Dlamini. One would have thought that would have been the end of her time, considering what happened with SASSA, considering her links to the Guptas. Obviously, that's all still under investigation. Another minister that many people thought this could be the end for him as well was Malusi Gigaba. And many people are asking this question, is this a cabinet for the ANC to appease everybody and make everybody happy, as opposed to a cabinet for South Africa?
Leanne, of course, it's a cabinet of the government of the people of South Africa. Quite important to also realize and appreciate that Comrade Bathabile herself, as Minister of Social Development, consistently that department has recorded unqualified audits, which is a very important instrument to assess also the performance of public representatives where they are deployed. She's also the president of the Women's League, sits in the National Working Committee of the ANC. She's a tried and tested cadre of the movement, continues to work within the collective to do all what she can to make sure that the work of the leadership collective of the ANC is taken further forward.
Do you really believe that, Pule? I mean, when you look at the track record of Batibile Dlamini, I mean, everything that you've said there is very concerning if that is a tried and tested member of the movement. I mean, there have been so many allegations against her. And the biggest problem was, of course, those that were waiting social grants. And it's still an issue that has not been solved or finalized. To be honest, it's a shambles.
Well, we must appreciate that cadres of the movement in various areas where they are deployed, they work with teams, they work as a collective and all of that. I think the positive thing that we should all take out of this is that the reconstitution of the national executive in the form of cabinet is one that must allow all of us to move forward. It must inspire hope amongst our people. It must actually contribute greatly to the Thuma Mina movement that the president of the ANC, who's also the president of the country, has been speaking about during the State of the Nation's address. Comrade Malusi Gigaba himself is the former president of the ANC Youth League, quite an experienced member of a cabinet. I think that the ANC must be allowed to do all it can to put forward a program that could be able to change the living conditions of our people. Because it is not about specific individuals. The ANC implements resolutions. I mean, even when the state president, newly elected state president spoke, he still spoke about the National Development Plan, which plan would have arisen when the former president was the president of the country. So he didn't say, now because there's a new sheriff in town, we are also going to shelve plans that must drive forward the building of houses and all of that. Yeah. So the ANC works on resolutions. Any cadre of the ANC deployed and stationed at any responsibility should be able to put their focus on the resolutions that are put forward before them. All we want now, which is what the president has spoken about, is to make sure that going forward there is much emphasis on ethical leadership. Yeah. We do everything else that we can to make sure that we raise the ante amongst the people of this country, and we seize the strategic initiative of leading the people of this country.
Pule, just finally and very quickly, the size of the cabinet. Many were thinking last night that perhaps we'd see a couple of departments being reduced and perhaps integrated into other departments. It's still exactly the same.
Well, Leanne, in my little experience as a three-time member of parliament, I can tell you this, that the idea is quite attractive. The president has said that there's going to be a process towards doing that. Yeah. There's something called annual performance plans of various departments. There is also a planning cycle that I take it that government departments and various ministries would have to follow. Going into next elections, when the ANC outlines its own manifesto and deals with the things that are necessary to be able to move the aspirations of the people of this country forward, that could be some of the most progressive things. I mean, the president has spoken about the various working groups that will be there. Nice. And I can take it that part of what your political committees and all of those review structures would be doing is to look at the most effective way of moving forward the work of government and the cabinet.
All right, Pule, we leave it there. I know you've got a plane to catch as well, going there to Parliament for the swearing-in of those 3 MPs that have now been promoted up to Deputy President, and of course 2 of the ministers as well being sworn in this morning. So let's take a break. Thank you very much, Pule. And we, after this, will speak to John Steenhuisen. He, of course, is the Chief Whip of the DA. He's there. He's in our parliamentary studios on his cell phone. We can see you, John. He doesn't know that.